what we call unlocking the mailbox and DMs and messages. And we're just going to share your questions that you submitted to us and then answer them in the best light possible. And this time, I actually asked our daughter, our teenage daughter, to give her perspective. Although she couldn't join us today, she said I was welcome to share her responses. So I'm going to share her answers. Maybe they'll match up with us or not. I feel like she's more like you, Bruce. So I feel like you're going to have similar answers. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. She's definitely more like me. You can see it in our videos and our pictures when we go out, is when we do go to the parks. It's always kind of like you and the older two are walking, and then me and her walk way ahead.
Yeah.
She's been walking with me ahead fast since she was 2 years old and able to walk. So she's a pretty quick walker, and we're very similar.
She always tried to keep up with her dad. It's so funny. And speaking of our kids, it was funny seeing how our kids are a lot like like us. And our oldest, we were in California Adventure, and there was Baymax meet and greet, and she absolutely who doesn't love Baymax? First of all, such a great character, but she loves him so much. And I have a photo of her. She took a picture with Baymax, but from a distance. It was really funny. I'm like, yep, that's her dad's child.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah,
I love waving to him. Like, I'll totally wave to him and say hello, and I get excited to see them, but I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into. I like these Q&As because we get to answer everybody's questions, and we don't usually answer them on. Sometimes the responses you want to give are very long.
It's hard on. Yeah.
And usually when someone asks a question, there's other people who have that question too.
Or you and I have sometimes a different perspective of the answer.
That's
so
true.
I don't want to speak for you sometimes. So this is fun to do it on the show.
Oh, you don't?
I mean, I will.
Okay.
Okay. All right. First things off, let's start off with some Club UTM questions. If you pay us, we'll answer your question
That's
first.
true. At least we'll put them to the top. That's for sure.
There you go. You got bumped up.
You got bumped up to the top. Patreon, Unlocking the Magic. Just search that on Patreon. You can go subscribe. We just did a video over there of like a day of us at Hollywood Studios, and it was pretty fun to do.
I forgot that we recorded that. It was fun. I get a little self-conscious when I'm recording and walking around, trying to see, like, I don't want to bring any attention.
Oh, is that why you recorded me ordering something at the Star Wars restaurant?
I'll record you any day.
You should go watch that video if you don't want. It's $5. It's like a cup of coffee. Go subscribe. You can watch that video. It's pretty funny to see me order at the. Where were we? I forget the name of that restaurant we were at. It was in Galaxy's Edge.
We were in Galaxy's Edge. And speaking of Club UTM, I have a surprise that I am going to be announcing pretty soon. Really excited. For those that have supported us over in Club UTM for so long, we're doing something I think is special. Hopefully your expectations are not too high, but I just recently ordered something. And
I think it's fun. I think it's really fun. It is really special. I know what you're doing. And it's fun. I think that people are going to really enjoy that and enjoy. If you ever make the trek to this location, the destination is the location.
There you go.
All right.
We'll leave it at that.
Where's that show from?
Let's start off with the questions. First one is, how is Walt Disney World at St. Patrick's Day? How is it? I mean, we're from Boston, so we're big. St. Patrick's Day is a big deal here. First of all, I love St. Patrick's Day in general. I love trying to set up the trap for the leprechaun that visits. And
That's true.
He's a little crazy. Last year, he somehow got a hold of green silly string, and there was green silly string around my house. It was a little messy, but it was fun. So in Disney, there's actually some fun things that happen. I love what Disney does is that they, even on a smaller scale of a holiday, because like if you compare St. Patrick's Day to Christmas time, right, they still do a lot of like treats and things to make you feel like you're part of this special celebration. So obviously a lot of people think about Raglan Road, Irish pub that is in Disney Springs, and they host what's called, I don't know if you knew this, Bruce, but they host what's called an annual Mighty St. Patrick's Day Festival.
No, I didn't know that.
They begin this year, March 14th, and they last to the 17th. Guests enjoy face painting. I guess there's giveaways, and they can shop in the Ireland Boutique. There's also a cover charge on the 17th. And I went on their website. I was just curious because it seems like a really fun time. I mean, Raglan Road in general is I would say, a really exciting kind of visit. There's music, it's got that energy. But when you go on their website, it shows you a little bit more about what that festival is. It really looks cool.
I would imagine that this would be pretty fun too. And those Irish people, so my grandparents are Irish. Well, my grandmother was Irish. So I have a little bit of heritage when it comes to those Irish. Those Irish people are pretty fun.
Yeah, they are a good time. So this is at Disney Springs, and this is starting again the 14th. I was on their website. I was just curious to see if there's reservations open. And they do open table, and they're still available if you go on their website to get a reservation. The only thing is on the 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, there's nothing that I can see. So it's good. I mean, a lot of people, I guess maybe a lot of locals go. It's a popular time, but if you're visiting, that sounds like really fun. And then when I asked G, so I told you earlier I was going to ask our daughters for her feedback. She said, I'm out. Too crazy, too much going on. No, thank you. And then we talked about visiting Rose and Crown Pub over in Epcot. You can go and find holiday-inspired drinks over there. Disney, the official blog, did a whole guide on this lucky kind of festival and topic and all the treats that they're going to see. I'm not sure if the color green is the most appetizing thing to look at when you're like, they look really fun. Like if you go on their website and you look at they have Disney's Beach Club Resort, they have a Mickey Shamrock milkshake, which sounds really good. It's mint milkshake with chocolate drizzle, shamrock sprinkles, and a vanilla cupcake. But I mean, when you look at the green, like, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing to look at.
Well, you know what ruined it for me is when they did that pickled milkshake.
Maybe that's what it is.
The pickled milkshake, I think, ruined it for you because that was really neon green. Like these kind of had that St. Patrick's Day feel to it, look-wise.
Yeah.
And the, you know what I mean, taste to it.
It was a big fail for me. I think that's maybe what happened to my brain. Was like, oh, but some of the rainbow stuff, it's really cute. And
I don't mind. That milkshake looks good. I don't know if I would. I mean, I'll give it a whirl. I'll try anything.
So over in the West Coast, they also celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So if you're over in the West Coast in the Disneyland or California Adventure, you can definitely have some fun on St. Patrick's Day. But also, one thing to note, pay a visit to the leprechaun who calls Disneyland home. So if you keep an eye out, you'll spot Patrick's home in Adventureland, and he's on the trunk of a tree.
That's cool.
It's the little man of Disneyland.
The little man of Disneyland.
That's what they call it.
There you go.
It's actually from I didn't realize this, but it was actually from a book. Remember those Disney little golden books?
Yeah.
And it was from 1955.
Oh, cool.
So for those that love a little history, whatever, just, by the way, do that. And G said she's in on that.
I love all the snacks, too. Like, I'm in on all the snacks. I love when they bring new snacks, especially when they're unique ones and you can try something new.
Definitely.
Because, I think Disney World needs more of these holiday unique snacks than Disneyland does. Disneyland, I feel like, has enough stuff to suffice without needing extra stuff.
Well, I mean, if you look at the list, there's a lot. There's a lot, I think, that they do. But, you can never have too many treats.
We should do a video on YouTube. Be like, I tried every, like they do, like really clickbaity. I tried every St. Patrick's Day treat, and here from 1 to 100.
You'll see it on my lips. Everything is stained
Everything's
green.
like you just have green lips and smear on your face.
All right, next question. If you could go back in time to any date, what Disney park or place would you visit, and what date would you choose, and why?
Oh, that's a great question. I probably, did G say anything?
G said, she referenced to our way back, I think it was 2015 or 14, we had a big family trip. We brought my mom, we brought her cousins.
That was fun.
And she says that was a really good time, and she would love to do that. I think we should recreate that. She would love to do that again.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
My initial reaction was to go back to when Disneyland first opened, but that was a hot mess. I don't know if I'd want to go back and, especially because you know what Disneyland is now and Disney World is now. I don't know if I would want to go back in time and see what it was like back then. It felt like it wasn't that great compared to what it is now.
Yeah. I think if I could take this question into two. So if you take this question and you just think of if you could just transport yourself into any timeline, where would you go? And then transport your time into any experience that you had as a family or a trip that you did, as a couple or whatever, which one would you go to? So there's two parts of, I think, to answer. Of course, I'm going to talk all about it, but two. So first, I would say I would love to go back in time to Epcot and be there with my dad and my uncle. And I remember how excited they were to tour the cars that were available there. They were both big car men, and just the whole feeling of Epcot back then with my dad. They just couldn't believe their eyes, and it was just so exciting to dream up the future. So I love that feeling.
And for the family one?
And for the family one, I think I agree with G, bringing my mom, going on Tower of Terror together, being so scared and clutching onto the handlebar while my mom was didn't have anything to hold on to. That was me. Just a lot of fun. I mean, there's so many. And and probably obviously the one that we took that really kind of inspired us to do the podcast.
That was probably the one I would do with the family.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that. Although the time that point in time in my life wasn't the greatest, so I don't know if I'd want to go back to that.
I know,
but I mean, if it was just singularly the trip itself, that's the one I would go back to.
Or the first time we stayed at the Poly after we worked so hard to get to our goals, and then we brought the kids, and we had just like this great trip, and we did. I still have the picture of the 3 girls in front of. They were in Hollywood Studios, and that was when the Mickey's hat was still there, the sorcerer's hat.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
And just to me, that was just pure joy.
I think a moment in time for me would be, I would want to go back to Disneyland when Walt was there. So it'd probably be, I mean, he died in 1966.
Yeah.
And he was kind of getting ready for Florida. So maybe like the year or 2 before that. Because if he's getting ready for Florida, that means in his mind, Disneyland is figured out.
True.
Right? So like a couple years before he passed, when he's like looking at expanding, like the first thought in his head's like, you know what? I could do this on the West Coast. This is going pretty well.
This is doing good.
Like, look at this. Look around. I feel like this is going all right.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe like 1963-ish, 1964, Disneyland. That's probably what I would go back to.
It's like what somebody feels like when they're ready to franchise.
Yeah, like when you're ready to open a second location. You don't open a second location if your first location's a mess.
Right.
You know, like, this is great. Everything's in chaos. Let me go open another one.
Let's just do this again.
No, you open a second location when like you're thinking to yourself and sitting back and watching it and be like, there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. Everything's going smooth. That's when you open another one. So like that's the point in time I'd want to go to.
Yeah, I love this past week specifically. I've been reading a lot of Walt's official quotes. There's a lot of quotes I think out there. I don't know if this is well known for those listening, but there are quotes. I'm doing air quotes right now if you're watching the YouTube video that Walt said, but actually he didn't say, or said in some way, and it was altered, or it's a quote from a movie, and they automatically think it's Walt Disney.
Yeah, well, you know what? When you guys like us, me and Walt, when you have these quotes that everybody says,
yeah,
sometimes they take them out of context. I feel Walt on that.
I've been reading a lot of the quotes that he's. So if you go onto D23, they'll have the full list of quotes on there right now. Some of them are so fascinating, the way he talks, and just going back in time and imagining, like what you just said about opening and going, expanding all the way to the East Coast. And back then, I mean, it's not easy flying across country now. Imagine back then.
Do you think Walt ever said, "What's that over there?"
Yeah.
Or do you think he ever said,
I like to think that.
"I would rather die"?
No, I don't think that.
Oh,
he did say he wouldn't do it again. Wait, what did he say? What was he? We have.
There was a quote. I have a video of it, and someone asked him, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? And the first thing he did was, well, I hope I wouldn't have to do it all over again. So that's basically his version of "I would rather die."
Yeah, I think you're right.
He basically said the 1962 version of "I would rather die."
There you go. Way to twist his words.
Hey, Walt, if you had to do it all over again, what would you rather do? I'll fix it for him. I would rather die.
Okay. All right. We're getting too silly, so let's move on. Thoughts about experiencing Wild Africa Trek Tour. So I had to explain this to G and what it was. So Wild Africa Trek is a tour, and it's located at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park, and it's not the most inexpensive thing. So when you hear Disney and you hear tour, probably should know it's not cheap, but there have been really amazing reviews on this, and so for price, it starts between $220
per person.
Yes.
Holy moly.
There are select days that you go and select times, and you basically go on this adventure. It's a guided tour, and you see all these animals up close, and there's a image of a woman on a bridge. She's like got this like harness on. I don't know if it's safety or whatever, and she's walking across this bridge, and it looks pretty intense, but yet pretty amazing. And you really, it's 3 hours. You get complimentary photo services. So you really have this sort of like a little treasure to bring back of an experience beyond the park. So I told G, and all she said was, "That sounds so cool."
It does sound cool. My first reaction was, that's kind of expensive, and I think I'd just go on the tour.
Yeah.
I mean, on the trek ride, like the safari ride instead. But then I'm reading this, I'm like, you know what? That's pretty cool. Like, I love the safari ride.
Yeah.
And this feels like the safari ride, but longer.
You really, yeah. So it's a 3-hour tour, privately guided tour, where you discover animals of all variety in the safari River Valley. So this is the animal's home turf in Africa. So you're going across the grassland path, you cross the rope bridge that I said, and then you do ride in the safari vehicle. So you do go through the open savanna. So it's kind of like a VIP, if you will, kind of journey. There are photos, and then you work up an appetite, and then you enjoy African-inspired snacks. So right now they have a sample menu, which is like they talk about garlic and leek hummus, pita, olive fruit. Like it seems like a light kind of snacks that you can enjoy, but very tasty. There's chicken wrap, it says right now, and marinated shrimp. I mean, with Jean now, she understands the value of $1. She understands how expensive this would be if we did it a family for 5. And that's the only drawback with stuff like this, is that when you go, if it's just the 2 of us, if it's just Bruce and I, we could probably swing it. But when you talk about 5 people, this has got to be kind of like a milestone or something really special to celebrate in Disney.
Yeah, because you're not only paying that price, but you're also paying the ticket to get in.
Right. I mean, it just...
So it's you got a double whammy there.
Yeah, but...
That's really $400 per person.
It's really a lot. Right. It's a lot. But like I said, the reviews of this have been pretty amazing. A lot of our friends from Club UTM have done it, and none of them had anything negative to say. So everybody has said so far it's worth the price. So it's something that I would say I would definitely try.
There's a little asterisk to that.
What?
They're all single people. Like, it's definitely worth the price if you go alone.
You're not bringing your 20 kids.
Are you bringing 5 people? Is it worth 5 people?
Yeah. I'm trying to look.
I want a family of 5. Is there a family of 5 listening to the podcast who have done this? And the parents solely paid.
All right.
So it's not like a family of 5 where you're in your 50s or 60s and your kids are old and they paid for themselves and you all went on a family trip. Like, any family of 5 out there, parents paid and was like, I paid $1,000. That was worth it. I want to know.
On Google, it says it's a 4.9 for reviews.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good... out of how many reviews do they have?
This is interesting. It says only 18.
That's still a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, only 18 for Disney? I don't know. Is that... It just says Wild Africa Trek if you Google it.
Well, it's expensive, so the potential client base is probably small.
That's true, too. Well, I definitely think it's something... there's a question later on about Disney bucket list, bigger... short term or long term, and that's definitely something we've always talked about doing.
I mean, we did the walk in Walt's shoes tour, which was not cheap, in only like 90 minutes, right?
It was not that long, yeah.
And then we got to go into Walt's house, and then they kind of took you on a tour of Main Street and give you a little history of that. And I thought that was good. There was no animals to see.
That's true.
There was no lunch.
Yeah. There was a cookie.
It was a cookie. We got to sit on Walt's porch, which was fun.
Yeah, walk in Walt's footsteps. That was in Disneyland, so that was pretty cool.
I mean, I guess I would do that.
Yeah. I think the tours I have found that I've never really been disappointed. It just happens to be, it's just pricey when you have a big
That's
family.
also true, because we went on the ABD, and I did not. When we went on the ABD last year, we went to the archives, and I didn't want to go.
Do you think people know what ABD is?
Adventures by Disney.
Okay.
When we, you know what? I should know better than that.
I know.
I'm so sorry. I apologize to the audience and everybody listening. I should be the last one to ever throw out one of those
like,
3-letter words that mean something else.
Right?
Not that kind of 3-letter word, the proper kind.
I'm getting better. ABD, HHN, Halloween Horror Nights, like that. For some reason, certain ones stick.
Yeah, I apologize. Okay. When we went on the Adventures by Disney last year, I did not want to go to the archives.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't?
No, because I thought it was like, sorry, it seems kind of boring.
Oh, you're not like a... You know what I noticed about you is that whenever we talk about something that kind of feels like a museum-ish thing, you're not interested. But then you have the best time.
True.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with this.
Yeah.
I went into the archive. We had a great guide, though.
We did.
I'm pretty sure his name was Rick, who was our guide. Mm-hmm. And he was an Imagineer. And that was maybe my favorite part of the Adventure by Disney.
I just need to figure out how to just drag you and not listen, because we just
don't tell me anything. Like, blindfold me and don't tell me where we're going, and we just show up. Like, I'll be grumpy when I first see it, but then once I get in there, I'm fine.
I did take a video of you going into the Ford Museum when we were in Detroit. Highly recommend visiting the Ford Museum. And you looked so you looked just annoyed, but you were taking one for the team. And then I got you with another video of you like a little kid in there. You were having the best time. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't just tell you anything.
Right.
Just kind of.
Probably best.
Yeah, probably best. Okay, moving on. Next question. What is your favorite season to visit Disney and why? G said November because she loves Christmas time and she loves seeing all the decorations. What's your favorite?
I think I'm with G on that. I think November is my favorite time to go. Maybe either it's a toss up between like November or January and February. November because I like seeing Christmas decorations, but January, February just because I'm sick of being cold.
I know.
I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Just
And,
gotta
like,
get.
I don't care what's going on in Disney. It's warm. It's Disney. It's Florida, and I'm out of Massachusetts.
Yeah. I would say mine is definitely, I love November. I love seeing all the decor and just the energy in Walt Disney World during that time just seems more amplified for some reason. But then I equally love right around the arts festival in Epcot. That time is usually around February, and to me, maybe it's because I reflect back to being a kid again, and the Festival of the Arts really encompasses what I remember Epcot really standing for. It's a lot of just kind of artwork and just imagination. Figment is highlighted. So those two times are like really, it's a toss-up. Those are my two favorites. All right. Now, this is a question that I don't know if I can answer. It says, tips for getting over fear of Tower of Terror.
Oh, what? Well, we had that problem because didn't our oldest daughter fear going on there?
Our oldest daughter did because she had an experience that I didn't know until recently. I guess she was too young because the height requirement is not that tall.
Wait, that's why she was scared to go on? She had like a negative experience on it?
Yeah, she said that when she first went on, I think she was around 5 or 6, she said her buckle felt loose.
Oh,
and
makes sense.
And it was just terrifying for her, even though...
That's the wrong ride to have your buckle be loose because when the drop happens, when the drop happens, you're like all right there.
So, and back then, you know, when you're kind of floating in your seat a little bit, which is exciting now to do, but back then, I mean, picture a 5-year-old girl, you're seeing the storyline so scary and then, or spooky.
Right.
And then that happened. So I get it. It took her a very long time to be convinced to go on that. And we tried for so long. And what helped her a lot was actually just kind of hanging in the gift shop and just kind of getting more about the storyline. We watched that movie with Steve Guttenberg.
That's true.
Who's made a huge, he's been all over social media lately just because his response to the recent fires in California, and everybody just like, he's always been amazing. But that movie, it's such a cheesy movie, but it's so fun and light to watch, and it really makes you excited to try it a little. So she saw that movie as she was getting older, and I think she just got the courage one day. G just said, you got to just do it. And I don't know if that's for me, the only way I was able to conquer my drop fear was, honest to goodness, riding in California Adventure and going on Mission Breakout. That was it. I don't think if I didn't do that, I would still be terrified of the drop on Tower of Terror. So, unfortunately, if you're in the East Coast, you just got to get over to Disneyland.
Yeah, there you go. Get over there.
That's what you got to do. All right. Favorite live action Disney movie?
This is a tough one. I don't know if I have a live action Disney movie that I love. I'm trying to think of all the live action. I mean, they made a ton of them recently. I'm trying to think of all the ones that I like.
So you can pull it up. I mean, I can give you some time. I'll answer G's answer to this was a toss between The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. She said both of those she really, really loved. I think she was surprised of how much she loved The Lion King live action, just because the animated version is such a classic, and you kind of go into it thinking, how could they even try a live action version of this? But she really loved it. So
let me ask you this: is Jungle Cruise considered a live action Disney movie?
I'm gonna say yes.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I like that one.
Really?
I do. I like Jungle Cruise.
Are you looking at everything on there?
There's Maleficent was decent.
Maleficent was so good. What a great! I love the versions where they kind of go into the character a little deeper and take something out of it versus just kind of recreating the same movie you've seen animated, right? Like Maleficent was different. I love the old school, so I'm always going to be such a nerd and say that I really love like The Parent Trap or Pollyanna, like those really feel good message movies I really love. And then as the years went on, this one didn't do that great. I'm actually going to see what it rated on IMDb. Tomorrowland.
Oh, if Tomorrowland's in live action, then Jungle Cruise is a live action.
I wonder what that got. I'm going to look it up. So.
Tomorrowland was great. It got a little slow at the end, but during the whole, like the beginning part when she's trying to figure it all out, I like that part.
Got 6.4, which is actually not horrible on IMDb.
What's horrible? 5 or below?
Yeah. So 6.4 is not, I don't know, not the worst. But this is with George Clooney. The beginning I thought was a little slow. I think that once you get to the middle, it got even more exciting. But this movie has such a great message, and then it goes. I mean, you can't beat the fact that it has such a great message, and then if you go and watch it, you see the early days, right, of what the New York World's Fair was.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like it.
And just to me, that's such a great movie.
I did like the first Lion King, the first live action Lion King, not Mufasa, but the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I took the girls to go see. You didn't go with us, but I took the
Right.
girls to go see, and I did like that one.
All right. Next question is your favorite animated Disney movie.
So for me, my favorite animated Disney movie is Lion King.
Okay.
I just like that one.
I think that one is going to be a very popular answer for a lot of people, I think, listening. I think it's a great movie. Animation is amazing. The story, the music. I mean, I still hum some of the music till this day. She actually said, she said, so she was thinking about Lion King at first, but then she thought about it and she said, actually, Rapunzel, which
Interesting.
did you know that?
No.
She said it's her favorite character, Rapunzel.
I didn't know that.
I don't know my kid, I guess. And between her and Brave, she really loves Merida.
Oh, I know she loved Brave, so
Yeah.
I would have said that one actually. Now that you say that,
I always go back to like what she wore on Halloween, and she was Merida one year, and
That's
she
right.
really loved it. But I just do not remember Rapunzel thing at all, so that one took me for surprise. But anyway, for me, animated, God, I just love Sleeping Beauty so much. I'm gonna go back to the classic. It's between Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, but I always find myself wanting to watch Sleeping Beauty a little more. I mean, maybe because I love Maleficent so much,
yeah,
too.
that's probably it.
But I love that. Okay, next question. She did not know the answer to this, so I'll just ask. Have you used any DVC rental sites? And no, we haven't. I haven't really found any that I like the policy on or whatever. We have this little thing called Unlocking the Magic Travel. By the way, it's free for you to use if you love planning stuff on your own. You can just have some support with us, and it costs no extra to you. So whether you're going to Disney or you're doing a cruise or you're going anywhere, reach out to us. So that is also why. And also Jarvis has hooked us up in the past with some DVCs. So no. All right. Next one. If you had to pick only one to go to for the year, Christmas or Halloween party in Disney World, which one would you choose?
I mean, if you listen to this podcast for any significant amount of time, you're going to know our answers.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Well, G said Christmas.
Same.
I'm
Christmas. You're Halloween.
I'm always Halloween, even though I love the Christmas party a lot. And that one's usually it's a surprise to me because I'm not a big person about seeing Christmas stuff.
I'll tell you what. If I'm in Disney World, Christmas.
Yeah.
If I'm in Disneyland, I'm picking Halloween.
Oh, that's a good one. Nobody does Halloween better than Disneyland and that whole bash that they do. It's pretty epic. All right. Oh, this one's sad. I had to ask this one to G because we were going through the list. By the way, if you're trying to enhance your time between park visits and you're kind of feeling just having these conversations with your kids, it's just so much fun around the table. This is kind of how we started the Would You Rather. G loves these. So we were talking about all these questions and she was just like, give me more.
She's these are fun. These are like Would You Rathers or in or outs.
She loved thinking about them, right?
Yeah.
All right. We just got to get her on the show. She's so darn busy nowadays. All right. So this one was, have you ever done Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique with your girls? She goes, Mom, no, we've never done this.
I mean, we have 3 girls that were pretty similar in age. So that's, again, pretty expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes, it's expensive. Again, this has great reviews. The people that really do this always seem to have a really great experience. For those that of you that don't know, this is located inside Magic Kingdom. Your children basically become a princess or a knight right before your eyes. They are transformed and they're adorned with accessories and they're basically pampered. It's like a princess or king, a prince spa day for your kids, and they come out just fabulous. But no, we've never done it. I think our kids were always really shy too. They didn't really love, even till this day, like I talked about our oldest with the character being on a distance, they weren't very eager to do anything like this or having, like a stranger, do their hair or whatever. So that is probably also why we never really did it. But if you're asking me, do I regret it? Oh, yes. If I could go back in time, there's a lot of things I wish that I could do. That's why I always say, I mean, obviously your kids, there would be the age to remember that, but we do get a lot of questions about should parents bring their young kids to Disney when they're not going to remember it? And I'm like, do you want to go to Disney? You know, and they're usually the answer is yes. And I'm like, just go and, you know, try to make sure you're incorporating your toddler, your baby's time, you know, nap time and all that, so that you're not having a cranky child in Disney. But the photos and all those, that you're never ever going to get that time back. So go. That's what I always say. All right. Next question is, I don't know if I should ask that. Bruce, have you ever tried to sneak a snack into the Walt Disney Archives or Imagineering?
Well, the Walt Disney Archives.
Yes.
I think we got lunch there, didn't we? Which one did we see? Which one were we when we saw when we had lunch?
It was the archive day.
Okay, so yeah, like no, because we had lunch in there. Like there was a cafeteria, and they're pretty. It's pretty. When you go on the Adventures by Disney, you go on these tours. You're pretty close proximity to your tour guide. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not gonna be, but I don't know if you have to. Like you can bring your backpack in. The bus is there, so it's like I don't think you need to.
You've never been hungry on an Adventures by Disney.
No, Adventures by Disney on these tours, you're not hungry.
You're
you
never
eat
hungry
all the time, and it's like great food and all you can eat, so it's great. I'm never hungry, so no, I haven't.
Okay, that's good. I was like, who is this message from? Is this Disney putting us up because
we're going soon?
You know, we're going soon.
No, I have not.
We have a pretty popular podcast, but yet, you know, we haven't been. I mean, whatever. All right, so Imagineering is really strict. That was probably the one that I get so nervous about. It's just that you cannot take pictures. They're so wonderful. There is a area where they welcome pictures, but that's the only time. And the rest, it's very secretive, for a reason. This is where everything happens, right? They don't want the public to see certain things they're working on. So I would hope Bruce wouldn't be snacking there.
No, I took it seriously.
Okay. Next question. If you had to, she was just rolling her eyes at that question, by the way. I just want you to know that. Okay. If you had to live at one Disney resort, what would it be and why? And then also, what would it not be?
I'll tell you what it wouldn't be. All-Star Resort.
Definitely not.
I would
Although
rather
you
die.
like sports. You could have so much fun. Just kind of.
I couldn't live in that environment.
No. Okay.
It's too chaotic.
Okay. I know this is probably going to be a deluxe category answer if I had to guess.
It's got to be like a little deluxe, but also a little convenience. If you're going to live there, you got to be in close proximity to things that you want to do.
Oh, so are the resorts on the Seven Seas Lagoon out?
Probably.
That's kind of far from things. Or...
Yeah, not really, though. I would either choose Boardwalk or Polynesian to live at.
I was thinking, you know what I was thinking, far from things? Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom's real far.
All
but that would be a cool one to live at.
Right? So what was your answer?
Probably Polynesian or the Boardwalk.
G said the Poly.
Yeah,
She didn't even just hesitate. And then the one she said feels far, even though it's not, is the Wilderness Lodge. And I think I was trying to explain to her, I was like, well, is it because we're very close to New Hampshire and Maine, which are beautiful places to visit, but when you're going on vacation, you want to just kind of go someplace different? And she couldn't really, no, she didn't think that. She just felt that it felt removed from the Disney feeling, she said.
The campgrounds would be cool to live at, too.
Yeah.
You get your own little cabin, you get your golf cart there. It's like you got your own little retirement home.
I feel like I could live at any of these. There's not one that I wouldn't. I would rock
Pop Century.
I would rock Pop Century. I would be one of those people where like every day would be a different, or maybe not every day, maybe like every month would be a different theme for me. So one month I'd be dressing 70s. Next month I'd be 50s. I could probably have fun there.
Well, good luck with that.
Okay. I don't know which one I wouldn't choose. I would definitely probably love to stay. This one's probably going to surprise you because you probably think Polly, but I really love
French Quarter?
Love.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love the French Quarter.
That one's a good one, too, because it's got close proximity to Disney Springs.
Yeah, you can take the boat. You can go to the other resort if you want to see other things.
The only problem with that one, the pool's a problem. The pool for French Quarter is a problem for me.
Yeah, but you can walk to the riverside, so that's kind of where my brain was thinking.
That's true.
I love swimming pools. as much as I would be happy with the jacuzzi at French Quarter, which is epic. I love the wrought iron and the feel of the jacuzzis there. I definitely like a good swim.
I feel like if you live at the Polynesian, you can pool hop to the Floridian.
Yeah.
Like, you live there. It's not like I'm like, listen, I live here.
I live here.
I live here. Well, what do you mean I can't pool hop? I live here.
Okay. Next question. Disney bucket list items that are both short-term and long-term.
What do they mean by short-term and long-term?
I would say maybe little or small, or something that's just such a big bucket list. Like, for the longest time, we had said we wanted to try, Disneyland even.
True.
So things like that, going on adventures by Disney, that was on our bucket list. I think you do, as much as I'm superstitious and don't like saying things sometimes out loud because I feel like I got jinxed or something, life happens and you can't do what you want to do. I think there was a point we were going to go on the Halloween of high seas.
That's true.
And unfortunately, my mom got sick and we had to stay back. So that was kind of a bummer. So I don't love doing that. But on the same token, I think you do have to say things or have goals because they somehow, some way they turn into, they happen.
Yeah, you know what? So, all right, so I got the answer to this.
Okay.
Short-term one, I think we've always wanted to go to the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco.
Yes.
That's like a short-term one. That's kind of easy to do. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term, in Club UTM, we have this long-term goal of buying a house on Disney property.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Wait, are you talking about the Golden Oaks?
Yeah, Golden Oaks. We have a plan to buy a house
like
in
a
Golden
$10 million
Oaks.
house.
I know, but if enough, there's like 300, 400 people in Club UTM. If we all throw in a certain percentage of money, we can buy the house together, and then we all get a week to stay at the house. Like, how awesome would that be?
I'm sure in the condo bylaws there's something said about that.
Well, it can be in my name.
Okay.
And you can all just trust me.
Okay, yeah, just trust Bruce. He's got you.
I'm pretty trustworthy, no?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm married to you. I hope I trust you.
So I think that's the long-term goal.
Okay. Not a bad thing. G said going to Tokyo.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They talk about this way more than you would even know. They talk about with me. They just daydream a lot about going there. We really have to make that trip happen. And
I know everybody says Disneyland Paris, but I don't have any desire to go to Disneyland Paris. I want to go to Tokyo.
You want to go all the way to Tokyo.
Yes.
I know. Well, I want to do it all. So when you're asking me, of course, I'm not going to, I'll be happy wherever. But that's definitely something I want to visit because I know the kids really want to go. And I think that would be a really amazing trip for all of us. Short term, definitely the Walt Disney History Museum. We have been doing a lot of traveling like Walt. We actually started that a long time ago. Like we went to New Orleans and we tried to walk in Walt's footsteps and try to see things in his light. And that has been so amazing for me. And just, I think coming full circle would be going to that museum. But also there's this thing where you can tour Walt's house in Los Feliz in California. They have like a ghost hunt tour or whatever. It's amazing. Sometimes Bob Gurr goes there. That would be epic. There's usually like a limited availability, but they usually happen. I reached out to them and they said it usually happens right around the fall. Sometimes they throw in a summer one, but not all. It's very rare. That one I have to make happen. I remember missing it this year because I just saw it. I didn't know it was a thing. And it was too late. But now that I know and we have plenty of time to get over there, I've just got to do it.
When is that? In the fall?
It's in the fall, and it just combines everything I love. Walt Disney, history, and real estate, right? Because it's his house, and it looks pristine. I was looking on there, and the owner now, I mean, it seems like he loves the house. He's got to be a Disney fan, right? He's kept it so well. And I was looking previously, like he's rented it for guess how much a month? It's California, so
$10,000.
$40,000.
I thought $10,000 was shooting high.
A month at one point. Crazy. I mean, it's a mansion, but I mean, what an epic home to visit. I mean, it looks like the storybook of Snow White. Like it just looks like there's so many famous pictures of Walt like on the lawn and in the playhouse and all that's there. So that's got to happen. Okay. Next question. Bruce, how about this? Answer this. What are your favorite shoes to wear in the parks?
Anything but flip-flops.
You're not a big flip-flop person.
I'm an anti-flip-flop person.
G said she loves her New Balance sneakers in the
Those
park.
are good.
I am not the right person to ask because I am always wearing Vans. I'm always getting yelled at because my feet always ache.
You always complain, yeah.
halfway through our park trip, but I love vans so much. Okay. Next question is Disney. Okay. Oh, sorry, just pulling it up.
Oh, we got time for one more.
Okay. Sorry. I got to pull it up. Favorite snacks in each park. Or no, favorite places to eat. So G said Magic. She was really on top of this question. I thought
I want to hear her. I want to hear her what she said.
I didn't realize she really is a foodie when it comes to being in the parks and everything. She said for Magic Kingdom, she loves going to Cosmic Rays. And I asked her, okay, well, what do you get at Cosmic Rays? I don't know why that sounds funny to me because Cosmic Rays just seems so basic. I love it. But she said, Mom, I just love the chicken fingers there. They're just so good. And I think it's just a mix of being in Tomorrowland, a great chicken finger, just that whole thing. It's the whole package. Epcot, she said she couldn't remember the place, but she called it the Morocco place. Loves it over there. Hollywood Studios, Sci-Fi, and I think
I agree with her.
I think that goes back to just like a basic, it's like a chicken finger. It's not the best meal, but she's just like, she's in this place where it really transforms you and puts you into that thing. And then Animal Kingdom, she said, the place where we get those bowls. And I said, you mean Satuli Canteen? And she said, yes.
Ah, that's a good one, too.
And then I asked her for Disney Springs. And she said, quote, that pizza place, I guess.
What's the name of the pizza place in Disney Springs? I know what she's talking about.
The way she said it was funny because she knows, you're not a huge fan of going to Disney Springs in general. It's a little bit busy.
Pizza Ponte.
Right, but we've been there for pizza several times.
I think it's the best of the worst pizza.
Yeah, that's, I think, how.
Like it's the best pizza you're going to find in that area.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Meaning Disney Springs, or Disney property for that matter. Via Napoli, but you got to go into a park for that.
Best of the worst, I think, is a great way to describe it, right?
Yeah.
So go in with certain expectations.
Low expectations. Like how go in with low expectations and then lower them a little bit more.
Okay, that's fair. What about you? Anything? I know you don't have to list all of them, but maybe
I think Liberty Tree Tavern. Did she say that?
She didn't.
Liberty Tree Tavern for me. Magic Kingdom. If there's one place I'm going to eat dinner, that'd probably be my go-to. Hollywood Studios. I agree. Sci-Fi. I like that. Animal Kingdom. Same as G. I agree with that one. Epcot. The Epcot one's difficult for me.
Yeah, I thought Epcot and Animal Kingdom are the two that make it difficult. I think those two parks have really, really great food options.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom has better food than you think it would.
Yeah, it's great options.
Epcot's a wild card for me because my mood depends on where I want to eat there.
I agree with you. We definitely always have a good time. And
like Spice Road Table for me, I enjoyed.
We always seem to enjoy Morocco and just getting food there. I mean, there's
Via Napoli, Spice Road Table. I don't think you can go wrong with that.
No, it's hard to choose. But those were her top picks, and like I said, there was no hesitation. She knew right away. I was really impressed. So
she should be on the show with us.
She should. She's busy. I asked her. She's couldn't fit it in. So the best we could do is provide her answers, and hopefully it inspires your teenager and whoever. And I like hearing everybody's. I feel like the three of us bring some kind of perspective. I have other kids too, but they have been really busy. I didn't even ask them.
Yeah, they don't even. I wouldn't see them anymore.
They don't even. They're so busy. So that's gonna do it, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, shoot us on Instagram, Unlocking the Magic Podcast on Instagram. Also, check out Unlocking the Magic Travel if you want some help with your cruise or event. You want to go on an Adventures by Disney? They're pretty fun. I highly recommend them.
There's many of them too, and they're bucket list. Adventures by Disney, going to Egypt. I'm saying that out loud. I want that to happen someday.
That and like a Mediterranean Disney cruise.
That would be cool too.
That's kind of like the goal.
Yeah.
But we need more people in Club UTM if we want to do that.
Let's go.
And we also need to buy our house in Golden Oaks, so you can go join that as well if you want. It's $5.
There's a lot we got to do.
Support the podcast over on Patreon. That's it.
That's gonna do it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, and if we miss your question, we'll do more of these and in the future, and we'll get those answers to you.
Yeah, so just always send them in.
Always.
Thank you so much. See you next week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.